Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today in this classic review, we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe, a real American hero, Eels. Now, this may or may not be one of my original, as I have replaced them, but I still have my original, and I did play with them a lot, but I need to have a complete one. I have two semi-complete ones with painted, or shall I say markered fins, and I believe this air hose right here. But I have, again, I have like two or three. One is complete, one is semi-complete. So I still do have my original. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this. And once again, I didn't look at how much stuff I got with something. But this guy would definitely be considered a deluxe with some flippers here, his gun, his backpack that splits into two, which to this day I still don't understand. And then obviously the breathing apparatus that you're going to connect to the helmet. But we're going to take a look at this guy, go through it, and yeah, I'm really excited. Again, I really like these figures, and I've caught so much that I didn't catch as a kid. But anyway, let's get into this. Tell me a story. If you had this guy, maybe you had a pool and you're like, I had to have Torpedo and Wetsuit and the Eels and the Cobra Night Landing, which is right over there, which probably means I'll probably be doing it after this. But anyway, let's get into this. But before we do, if you like this type of content, you're like, hell yeah, these classic reviews are really cool, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. All right, so here we have our trusty Eel. And again, one of my favorite figures, like so many, and this would be considered a deluxe in this day and age. So anyway, we're going to take a look at his accessories first. That's what I always like to look at. All right, be very careful if you do have this figure, in any figure that you're actually using a stand or anything that's plugged into their feet, because you just want to be very careful with them. All right, so we'll start off with the flippers first. They are the same. All right, so now there is a dark blue pack in the accessory pack. So here's one, and then there's two. As you can see, I don't even think I ever realized that. But either way, very small, but these look more like what you would get at home, not what they use today. They use very long flippers. But the nice detail on it, it kind of has that Batman look to it right there. It's going to plug directly into it. And it does have a nice place for the heel, so you know how it fits. Smooth on the bottom, so you don't really have to worry about this guy falling over. As for the backpack here, it has this jet on it. All right, so it's like a propulsion system. Not for flying, although I think many of us made him fly a time or two. Now this piece does come off, and I have no idea why. To this day, I don't know if they were planning on doing something else that added to this, but the propulsion system does come off. Here it looks like there's a box that you're going to be able to hold some stuff into it. Here's some more hoses. I'm assuming it's going to be help circulating air through there. You got some couple little fins, probably going to make it easier to break through the water. And then I guess this would be the top, so you can kind of turn it on and off maybe. But this does, if you're wondering, it only goes one way. All right, it has two little pegs, and that thing pegs right into that. So one of the things that you'll find, make sure whenever you're buying this, if you're buying one of these, that these are the same, because this also came in the dark blue. People could paint it really easily, pop it on here, and they could try and rip you off. I hope no one would do that. It's just very slimy to do something like that. As for the breathing apparatus, here you go. These are going to plug right into the two holes right there. Then they plug actually into the mouth. So it's not just floating there. Again, in my opinion, you were thinking way ahead of everyone else when it came to designing these figures, because if I remember correctly, well, I know for a fact that Torpedo doesn't have it, and I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if Wetsuit does. As for the very unique and iconic weapon of his, it is like it is a double harpoon gun, or is it a spear? It's a spear gun, right? I don't know. I forget. Someone's going to yell at me. But anyway, you look at this. It's got the grip. It's got the foregrip. A nice trigger right there. What I'm assuming is the CO2 cartridge to make this thing actually shoot. And then if you look up there, at least the bottom one I believe is supposed to have some sort of rope so it can kind of connect it to it. So once he shoots it, whatever he harpoons into, he can either pull it back to him or he can be pulled on it. As for our actual figure, I would assume he's supposed to have some sort of goggles on. It looks like up here is probably a light. You got a little antenna here so he can communicate. It has a whole suit right here. Again, I'm assuming what we're looking at here is some sort of goggles, although they don't show anything. He's got the same style eyes, just a little dot, black up top, and then you've got the little swoosh eyebrows. Two little pegs right here. They're going to peg this thing into it. I'm glad I spent time plugging that thing in, then it just comes right off. Up top, you got a little bit of guard. All right, so it's kind of just some shoulder guard up here. You have his wetsuit here, his Cobra symbol in silver. This might be a... I'm actually kind of looking at this. I'm guessing this is probably some sort of like red light that makes it easier to see and also be spotted. Looks like he has some sort of shoulder pauldrons here. So he is protected when he goes down in the water, maybe from sharks. His wetsuit. And then he has this little gauntlet here. I'm not sure if it's supposed to carry anything. I would assume both of them carry something just to protect himself. And on the back, you can't really see how it's connected. That probably drives a lot of people nuts. But we know this actually connects all the way over. And then you're going to wrap it around. And you get this nice, somewhat of a belt. Here we have his belt with a couple pouches. Actually, more than a couple pouches. You can see how it goes underneath it, so you don't have to worry about it coming off. There he is. It's made in Hong Kong. Not too much on the legs, although you can see some sort of detail right down here where I guess would be maybe some stitching. That's going to go all the way down. Maybe someone that's a diver can let me know, like if that's something specific. I would assume it is. And then right at the bottom, he's got the little knife right here, just in case he has to fight wetsuit or torpedo or maybe a shark. I don't think you want to stab a shark because they come for blood. And then obviously just kind of like ninja toes because you're on a wetsuit. And then he does have the holes right there. As for his articulation, he does look down somewhat and he does look straight, a little up. Now this would be a perfect figure for looking up because he's going to be swimming a lot. And he does look side to side. And once again, they made it so they have two little pegs on the side, so you cannot completely spin the head completely around, which, in my opinion, is better. There's his T-pose. He swivels at the shoulders. Little over 90-degree bend right there in the elbow, and then he has the swivel arm battle grip. Turn side to side with the O-ring. He does the L pose. He does a nice knee, 90-degree right there. He can go up side to side just a little bit. Again, I'm not going to pressure it too much as I don't want to break the crotch out there. But you want to be able to make him look like he's actually swimming. So let's take this guy, throw everything on him. All right, so there's his flippers. I think it's easiest, if I remember correctly, to plug this in first. That's actually why I was doing it. And of course, when I went to move it, this thing is actually pretty loose. It came off. And then we're just going to plug this in here. And this is a softer plastic. All right. Then we're going to take the gun here, the spear gun. I think it's called a spear gun. Now I am not even about to wrap that into his front finger because the last thing I want is a thumb to break. But he sits there perfectly fine. A lot has to do with the flippers, so you don't have to worry about using a stand or anything like that. But anyway, there is your classic review of your Cobra Eel. All right, so there you go. That is your G.I. Joe Real American Hero Cobra Eel, part of the classic review series that I've been doing. I love to hear a story that you had, especially the people that had pools. All that we had, I lived in condos. We had a big, large pool across the street, literally across the street from my house. Big condo complex, but I was lucky enough to have it right across. Sometimes you would take Joe's over there, but it was always kind of worrisome because very easy to lose stuff. So as much as these figures meant, we normally would play in a bucket. Like one of those big, they weren't even Home Depot at the time. They were probably Builder Square buckets or whatever. And that was kind of where we'd play, and we'd put rulers across it and make people walk like across the plank, and sometimes they get knocked off. Man, I'm really rambling on. But anyway, tell me a little story about this if you enjoyed it, if you had it. Maybe you didn't care. Maybe you're like, I hate water. I don't want to go in water. I had nothing to do with any of the Navy figures. I can't imagine many people felt like that. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for staying this long. And I'm going to ask one simple thing. Please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. That's 3 things. So you're notified every time I drop a classic review. Now don't go anywhere, because you're like, I need more. And you're like, hell yeah, you do. Right up here, I'm going to drop the Snow Serpent classic review. And down here will be a playlist of all the classic reviews that I've done. Take care.